welcome back to another channel for Source Energies. So, since we briefly touched on the Sephiroth, sorry, um, on the last episode, I wanted to continue talking about it. So, I'm going to be showing the diagram in a few different ways on this video, but first off, I want to say that there's a lot of information on it, so I'm only going to be covering a little bit as I also, talk about other spiritual stuff that spirit and spirit guides want me to talk about. So the first thing they want me to talk about that keeps coming up is embarrassment. Like being embarrassed. What is that? Like, I'll tell you something embarrassing I did once when I was in school. I was so concerned about doing schoolwork or not doing schoolwork that when another kid came in, I was the fool, acting like the fool that I was. When thank you, Ace Line, for your cards. When for your tools. When I came in, or when I was talking, or when I raised my hand so I could talk, because that's how school be, right? That's how school is. They said, oh my gosh, I butchered this already. That's a perfect example. Embarrassment, right? Stuff's embarrassing. So usually when you feel embarrassment, it's just a representation of feeling like you're not doing the right thing. When I was in school, I was so worried about doing work rather than understanding, because I was a kid and all I cared about was video games. And for me specifically, codependent relationships, and finding that one that I was more worried about doing the work. This exchange student had come in, and I was noticing that they got to write stuff in their own language. And I raised my hand and she's like, what is it? I'm like, does that mean that we have to write more than she does or they do? And the teacher got so mad at me, rightfully so. It's like kind of ridiculous thing to talk about in the middle of class. But embarrassment is there to teach you how you should and shouldn't be, right? What's acceptable, what we should and shouldn't be doing, what we should be paying attention to, what we shouldn't be paying attention to. And that comes from experience. It's just a part of life, the knowing and not knowing, the learning how to figure out what's important, what's not, how to act, how we shouldn't act. And it's just really a matter of experience, and the reason why I bring this up is because when it comes to the beginning of the Sephiroth, when it comes to the kingdom, when it comes to this plane of existence, a lot of stuff's embarrassing, a lot of stuff hurts, a lot of stuff's going to be heartbreaking, a lot of stuff's going to take some getting used to. And it's how we react to that we really only have control over. Not the actual events, not how other people react to it, even though sometimes we can do things that bring out a different type of reaction. That's just an illusion. The only thing we really have control of is how we react to it. This is the card that I saw in my mind's eye before I started, so probably one of the more popular cards. Three of Swords, heartbreak, a moment of grief. What's important to understand is that we'll get through it. We always do. It's just how we react to it. It's going to change our personality, and how we see the world around us is going to change the karmic seat, or this way that we interact with the world, changing the karmic cycles and loops that we're in. So just know that what we give out, we're going to get back. And what we get back has to do with what we're giving out. Or at least the way we see it, the way that we understand it, the way that we decide to act because of it. It creates, let's just say, spiritual lessons for us, the things that bring about the things we continue to experience, or the things that we continue to learn. There's, nothing comes before a spiritual lesson. Nothing comes before a spiritual lesson. We're here to learn. We're here to understand. We're here to be students, in a sense. And the better student you are, the better teacher you can become. The more we can take the time to listen, the easier it is to speak. Everything's paradoxical in that kind of way. How does Tao Te Ching say it? The senses actually, as much as they help us to understand, taste dulls, the ability to, receive. Hearing deafens the ear. Colors blind the eyes. Speaking stops you from listening. Listening means you have to stop speaking. It's all a matter of really taking time to gain control of your emotions. And the cups represent emotions, and they also represent water, if you didn't know. In order to become king of your emotions, you need to be able to understand that we're both the teacup and the teapot. We create the ingredients in which we pour into our teacup, and it's not until we empty the teacup and empty out the pot is the moment in time which we will be able to add new ingredients or be able to receive new types of understandings, right? It's not in the attempt to try to prevent embarrassing things. It's not the attempt to try to prevent heartbreak. It's how we go about understanding it and how we go about receiving it and expressing that type of understanding that brings about the karmic cycles that will either be detrimental to us or will enlighten us. It's not being one step ahead of the heartbreak that's going to prevent it, that's going to stop you from feeling it. We're going to get heartbroken. There's no preventing that. It's just going to happen, right? It's a matter of how we understand it. It's a matter of how we face it, how we react to it, right? There are lots of things that'll keep us in the vices that perpetuate these negative habits and these negative things, right? But it's understanding these vices, it's an understanding the things that inspire us and that keep us motivated and that keep us trying to do what we do, that will make or break these cycles, that will give us an window into creating new ones, into understanding things in a different light. This will bring out the best in our will, the best in our ability to create new cycles and into facing these negativity or this negative energy within us. Because, as I said in previous episodes, understanding these negative emotions is what helps propel the positive in the first place. We don't feel anxiety, anger, embarrassment, or resentment for no reason. There's underlying reason, and when we can appreciate the reasoning behind them is when we start acting differently because of these negative emotions or regardless of them. Okay, I said I was going to go over the Sephra, so let's go over the Sephra real quick. So, there's Malkuth, which represents the kingdom. There is Yesod, which represents the foundation or the vessel, in my opinion. Right? And Yesod, or the vessel, or the foundation, is supposed to represent your connection, let's just say, from the astral plane to your connection to the earthly plane. Then there's Hod, which in my opinion represents acceptance, prayer, or observation, or the attempt to surrender. And in doing this, it brings about an emptying of the cup, a willingness to be filled in a new way that brings about new types of understandings. Okay, and once we're able to do that, we connect to netsack, which represents victory or action, or let's just say the type of energy that resembles knowing exactly what to do, right? That brings about the result, right? After that, we come to Teperath, which is say a harmony, a spiritual harmony, a spiritual balance. And honestly, that's just the outcome of what happens when you master these first 4 Sephiroth. Okay, you start to really begin to appreciate and harmonize and see the truth in the material world and in the astral world, what the purposes are and what the point is. Now, there are beings that dwell in the astral world, okay, but it's more, in my opinion, of a bridge between the true spiritual world, even though it's really connected to it. It's a bridge between the spiritual world and the material world. And all of it's connected, all of it's very necessary. You can't get one without the other. I'm not telling you not to be spiritual, I'm not telling you not to be material, I'm telling you that the work is in both. And it's a requirement, in my opinion, for self-mastery to enter the state of Teperath, or spiritual harmony or balance, to be an understanding of the natural law of things and of the supernatural, or the karmic cycles, or the give and take, and the, say, order of how things work, right? So, what was the next one? Next one is Gebura. Now, Gebura, which is Sephiroth number 6, is supposed to represent strength, right? So it's supposed to represent hardiness, the endurance, right? The perpetuity of how things are. And this is still within the astral, because there are supposed to be 4 different planes: the material plane, the astral plane, the spiritual plane, and then the source, or just say the place, of completeness, I would say, where everything comes from. So still being on the astral plane, the place of strength, Gebura, it is through the understanding of the perpetuity and having the strength and endurance to keep on going where we make it to the next one, which is the 6th, I believe. No, the 6th. No, the 7th, and it's called Hesed. And it is supposed to be a representation of the love, or the people's love of God and God's love of the people. Okay, and it's through Hesed, and it's kind of spelled weird, where we really begin to understand the truth of love, the power of love, the readiness that love presents. And it's in love in which we do anything, right? It's in, even if it's, the love of wanting to protect something, or the love in wanting not to be hurt, even in hate, it's a form of love. So everything comes in pulse. So hate and love are essentially the same thing, just different degree. And obviously, they both have their place and they both have their qualities and attributes, but it's in the middle, it's in the foundation, it's in the balance, it's in the harmonization, it's in the interpretation of it that's going to really bring about the ability to, control, to build work with it, for it to be something malleable that you can truly intertwine your will with. Right. And after Hesed, you get, what one was it again? No, number 7, number 8. Oh yeah, that's right. We get, why am I getting blocked? Can't remember it right now. what's it called? Anyway, so I'll put it up here so you can see it, and you can just laugh at my embarrassment of not being able to remember. But those who can learn to laugh at themselves never run out of things to laugh at, as the Stoics say. Really having a hard time remember it. Anyway, but from Hesed though to the next one, we're actually entering the spiritual plane, or the plane of Bira or Beira. And these are the Hebrew words for it. The material plane is called Asaya. The astral plane is called Yetzirah. And we're on the spiritual plane now, which is called Beira. And after that, there's another plane called Atziluth, and that's supposed to be the plane of Source. But going back to what we're talking about, I really can't remember it. It's funny. Oh yeah, it's because so on the way to the next one, there's another one called Da'at, Da'ath, which is supposed to be a representation of the completion of all of them and understanding it, which is the last one. But that's the 11th. But we're on, let's see, 79. We're on the 9th one right now, and that is supposed to be, can't remember it to save my life. Interesting. Oh, Bina. Thank you. Thank you, Spirit. Okay, appreciate it. So, it's Bina. And Bina, one of the most important ones. I don't know how I'm forgetting that. Thank you. Okay, so Bina is supposed to represent seeing things through the shoes of other people, or seeing the perspective of other people, right? And this is why it's a very important connection from Hesed, because Hesed, or Chesed, or however you want to pronounce it, represents the love of people and people's love of God and God's love of the people. Is that this comes from seeing things through other people's perspectives, walking in other people's shoes, taking the time to contemplate other people and their perspective of life and what they've been through and how they came to see and understand through their own eyes. And it's through this understanding and through this love that you begin to truly connect to the next one, which is Chokmah. Chokmah is wisdom. It's pretty much divine wisdom. It's the wisdom that is attained, like we said earlier, from understanding things not only through your perspective, not only through your own heart and through your own emotions and your own will, but taking the time to really be empathetic, empathic of other people's, emotions, their will, their time, their energy. And it's through Chokmah, which is pretty much, like I said, divine wisdom, that we get to the final place, and that's Source. It's called Kether. And it's supposed to be Source energy, the divine light, the unveiling, the true knowing, like how things actually are, not just how we understand things as they are through how we can comprehend them, but the actual place in which we don't actually get, let's just say, you don't get the 100% understanding of it until after you pass, right? We have people who can connect with Source, with Kether, and attain the 11th, called Da'at, which is, I'll show you on the diagram. Comes straight down. It's the 11th Sephiroth, and it represents the harmony of all the Sephiroth, of all these conditions, of all these divine emanations. Of, the Holy Spirit, of the divine, of everything that is, ever will be, and continues to be. And it's that place that we really want to make it to on our spiritual journey, because it's that place that unlocks the knowing, the truth, the unveiling of, you know, everything, of our own perspective, of the blockages and the obscurities that exist within us that prevent us from seeing it, and within other people, so that we can properly be there for ourselves and therefore properly be there for each other. It's through loving, compassion, and being there for ourselves in which we can truly give that love and compassion to other people. If we don't respect ourselves, if we're not there for ourselves in the way in which we need to be there, we're not going to be able to be there for the people in the way that they need, you know. And it's a process. Like I said before, we're going to go from the beginning, from Kether, from the divine, right, from source, from Atziluth, which is, you know, the divine realm, which, you know, let's just say archetypes, gods, angels, whatever. If you only believe in one God, that's fine. But I'm just like to express that compared to what we can understand, compared to what we know by the limitations of our vessel, they seem like gods. You know, they seem like, you know, like they know everything. But we go to Chokmah, which is also known as the formation, or the creation, the know, the mind of all, right? How, like, pretty much the mind in which we dwell, just how things essentially are and how we come to understand them. And we go back to Bina, which is seeing things from the perspective of others, taking the time to seriously understand how they come to understand, and taking the time to see things through their perspective. Do we really get to the next one, which is Chesed, or Hesed, which is the love of God, and then God's love of the people, which brings us into those more perfect, let's just say, situations, that bring us into the more know-how, the more of the divine understanding that exists within all of us, right? The divine spark, that connection to source, the connection to the higher selves. Yeah. And so, from the Hesed, we go back to Hod, which is supposed to be that surrender, which is supposed to be that point of prayer, that point of, you know, observation. This is how it is, this is what it is, and it's through that where we regain that balance back to Tiphareth, which was the seventh, which I kind of skipped, but it's important that we understand that Tiphareth and Daath are supposed to be the balance points in which we catalyze the kingdom, or our earth, or our vessel, to Yesod, which is pretty much our spirit, or our foundation for understanding, which in turn, you know, is connected to these places of balance and harmony. And it also helps us with knowing just what to do, which is exactly what whatchamacallit. It's exactly what Netzach is all about. The victory, the action, and the true understanding. Okay? And it's from this point where we connect back again to Yesod, the vessel, which brings us back to the kingdom, our connection from our lower self to our higher self possibility, which connects to the more divine that exists within us. This takes time, this takes experience, this takes doing the work, this takes implementing these things. Now, there's more information on this, and I'll get to it in the future, you know, and it's the 22 paths. The paths that are related between the Sephiroth, that interconnect, and that create situations in which we could better understand and better, let's just say, come into harmony and find the relationship between each and every one of these divine emanations. Okay. So I drew some cards earlier. What am I getting? Okay. So got the sun here, and it's supposed to be a representation of understanding, the abundance, the ability to appreciate, to have gratitude, and these will bring us closer to the state. And reaching that state, we begin to see the black and the white and the white and the black, how to, like I said, appreciate those negative emotions to help and reinforce positive decisions and positive viewpoints and positive observations and outcomes. It's an understanding and being equipped and in doing the work that we're able to have everything that we need in order to move forward in the way that we need to move forward. It'll bring us closer to our higher self, it'll bring us closer to our relationship with God, and therefore bring us into that more harmonic, balanced place. Karma is pretty much the seat in which we place ourselves. There's no escaping karma. We're in constant karmic loops. We can go from a good person to a bad person pretty much like that. I mean, we're all good and bad. We all make good decisions and we all make bad decisions, but it's what we do regardless of how we feel or because of how we feel that really define us as people, right? What we know versus what we don't know and the actions we choose anyway. It's a matter of getting out there and going out and trying to understand and learn. Like you have to, like I said, we're like in a school. We have to learn, okay? We have to take the time to actually try. If we just focus on our earthly desires and just, trying to fulfill ourselves, like we're going to be stuck in those loops. Like everyone wants to feel good, but not everybody wants to understand, what it means to feel bad. Like sometimes it's good to feel bad. Sometimes when we feel bad, it's for a good reason, like the embarrassment. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes we'll feel embarrassed, but it's for a good reason. It helps us to learn, helps us to grow, helps us to bring about a new foundation of understanding. It's what will help us master our earthly things. Pentacles represent earth, and earth represents the physical, the body, the material. And achieving that, we have to take the time to do the work. Like say, take the time to understand it. You change from the inside out, okay? Not from the outside in. Like you can look however you want to and attract whatever you want by pretending to be whatever you want to attract, but I'm telling you, it's in, and I tell a lot of people, be what you want to attract. See what it takes to be that. See what it takes to express that type of energy. Be it, and you'll start to understand it. Understand it, and you'll know exactly what to do in order to achieve it, right? And then you'll have gratitude and more appreciation for it rather than being stuck in a cycle of, give me it, give me. No, it's more like, what do we gotta do to work for it? What does it mean to work for it? What do I gotta exchange? Love is the fruit of sacrifice. Okay, nothing's free. Nothing's for free. Everything comes at a cost. Everything comes at a price. And we got more swords energy. So, like I said, you'll be able to change your mindset by changing your relationship to the narrative that you have in your head. You'll be able to change your outlook by understanding your emotions differently. You'll be able to change the way you see things by appreciating what's there, not by being angry that you don't have something that you wish you could, okay? Right from the top, Spirit? Shuffle? Alright, fine. I want to shuffle. Alright. Yeah, I'm trying something new. Stop. 2 from the top. Okay. I'm trying something new. I don't have the setup I used to, but I'll be getting a new setup here pretty soon. Alright. Okay, would you look at that? 2 cup cards. So we got the Knight of Cups, which we talked about that teapot and that cup earlier. This is seeing what's within you, seeing what's there, really getting to understand yourself and seeing your emotions for what they are, not for what you wish they could be, but for really seeing it, really taking the time, like I said, to make that different cup of tea, to empty your cup if you got to really appreciate it and say no. You can say no. Saying no is saying yes to love in some situations, which I heard from a tarot reader in an episode not too recently, synchronization there. And it's through that where you can really understand and appreciate the emotions of other people. You're able to see them for what they are. You're able to appreciate them for what they are. You're able to help them, give them that new cup of tea, empty your cups together. Show them those new recipes you got going. Show them who you really are and what it means to accept yourself for who you are and what it means to appreciate it rather than be upset or obsessed with what you wish it could be and what you wish you did feel. It's appreciation. One more from the top. Okay. The Hierophant. I love this card. It's a symbol of virtue. It's a symbol that you should do the good work, and the good work will bring you good results. And it's being that gatekeeper to the virtuous truths and for understanding, people for who they really are and seeing the truth of it, rather than being stuck in this mindset of entrapping and, keeping people stuck in loops and being stuck in loops. This embodies the battle between being authentic and being liberating and confining and being destructive. Okay, I'm going to close the reading here. Thank you for listening. I really appreciate you being here. Thank you, Spirit Guides, for showing us truth, understanding, for bringing about new ways to look at life, and for showing us how to implement our truth and our understanding. And thank you very much for helping me deliver this message. And I pray that you give them synchronicities and signs that will help them to know just what to do, and will show them the karmic loops that they're stuck in, and show them how to take a different karmic seat, and show them how to appreciate and show gratitude for things that we didn't usually show gratitude for or appreciate. So that way we can live better living lives and not be stuck with an idea of the grass is green on the other side, but to take the time to water our grass and to plant new seeds of abundance and understanding and appreciation and love and compassion. Thank you so very much. All right, guys, you have a wonderful day, morning, evening, wherever you're at. I'll talk to you again soon.